creative person who likes technology and people. I was really interested in making something for my wife. So she lives in Brooklyn and I live here in DC, and we travel back and forth to see each other all the time, right? And so it's not a lot of fun to have to do all of that and like we talk to each other every night, but it's hard to feel close sometimes, right? There's this distance. So I wanted to make something that would bring us together, make us feel closer even when we're far apart. So I made these two boxes, right? So a hay box is a cube. It's about 3 inches on all sides. It has a little button on top and it has the word hay cut out in the front with a little piece of opaque plastic that light can go through a little bit. Inside the hay box is one of these Arduinos with Wi-Fi in it, and a single LED light, and a rechargeable battery. And it has the buttons on top of the box. So the idea is, the way it works is that if you push the button on one box, the other box lights up and says hey. And like as long as you hold that button down, the light is on, and you lift the button, the light goes off. So the duration of the light is like how you're pushing on the button. So yeah, so when I push the button on my box, her box lights up and says hey. And then she pushes hers back and mine lights up and says hey. And so it's our way of like, you know, letting each other know. It's almost like I could feel her hand like pushing on the box, even though she's hundreds of miles away. I know that she's right there, right at the box, and she's pushing that button. And I can feel her presence when I do that. And that, I mean, it's really powerful, I think. I found an old jukebox in the garbage in my neighborhood in Brooklyn, and I took it home. I cleaned it up. I got the manual, and I got it working again. So you push the buttons, and the lights would go, and a wheel would turn, and it would send out these electrical pulses. Right? So this is one of those jukeboxes that you would see at a diner, right? It would sit on the table. There's no records inside it, but it would tell another system what records to play. So I met somebody online who was doing the same thing, and we worked together and we developed a circuit that would interpret the pulses coming out of the jukebox when you hit a letter and a number. And then that was in an Arduino circuit, and then it would know, oh, you just hit A2. And then it would send out wirelessly that signal out over your radio waves. And then we had another Arduino, and it was attached to a Raspberry Pi computer. A Raspberry Pi computer is just a little computer like this that can work like a regular computer, but it's very small and cheap. It was it connected to Spotify stations. So we had it set up to run a music server that could stream our Spotify stations. So the idea is that you could hit A2 on the jukebox, and then it would make the Raspberry Pi play like my Barry White Spotify station. And so that has worked for years. I used to like have it set up in my home at parties, and it was a lot of fun. And now we use it in the makerhub, and all of our makerhub volunteers make their own Spotify playlists. And so we have, and they put the title of the playlist on a little card that goes in the jukebox. They put in a quarter, and they play music in the makerhub all through our Spotify stations. In my mind, like makers are, and they've always been makers, right? People who are craftsmen, are artisans, or cooks, chefs. Anybody who creates you might call a maker. I think in the context of maker culture, what we often mean are people who maybe are making as a hobby, or they're finding their way into these types of accessible tools and technologies and resources and communities that are coming together to make for a variety of reasons. So whereas in the past we might have looked at making as a necessity or a vocation, and that's why you made, now we are looking at making as almost an expression of community.
So you don't have to be an expert to be a maker.
Exactly. Yeah, you definitely don't have to be an expert to be a maker. And a big part of being a maker is sharing your expertise with others, not just using that expertise to sort of further your own ends. So DIY basically means do it yourself, right? And that comes from this idea that, you know, if something breaks, we usually rely on other people to fix it for us. Our car breaks down and we take it to the shop, right? Somebody else does these things. Or if we have a tool that breaks, we throw it away and we buy another one that someone has made for us. So do it yourself means instead of having somebody else fix it for me, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to take the power of creation and production into my own hands. Instead of buying a painting, I'm going to make a painting. And that's fantastic. It's very empowering to think that we don't just have to work our job, make money, then pay money to get the things that we want to have. And that sense of making things that are by us, for us, is fantastic. Now, a risk in that when we say do it yourself is we miss out on some of the joy of what being in a makerspace is about, and that's this community, right? Being together with other people. So that's when we start talking about this idea, DIT, the fabrication of textile crafts throughout Georgetown.
So it's involving hydroponics,
Oh,
and
excellent,
then also
excellent.
working with some laser cutters and 3D printers to actually create these structures.
Oh, fantastic.
And then getting some engineered soil to put into it. So I'm aligning a makerhub, maker army to help me with
That is
it.
fantastic. You can help with your laser skills.
Yeah.
I think would apply directly to the
really
work that
good
she's
at
doing.
lasers.
Awesome.
Everything
Absolutely,
lasers.
right?
I have friends in agriculture with greenhouses.
Do it together, right? Because doing it yourself is great, but we don't mean that you're sitting alone in a workshop somewhere by yourself, in a cave, just making things by yourself for yourself, and you hide it away. In a makerspace, we come together with other people, and we learn how to make things, and we teach other people, and we come up with ideas together, and then we make those things with others. And that's why do it together is such a powerful thing that complements do it yourself. Is welcome, and that's the feeling that they have, right? Is that I belong here. Even if it's my first time, we're happy to have you. We want you here. We want you to learn, and we want you to spend time with us learning together. And without that feeling, like you can't really have a good makerspace. And I think that's something that we do really well.
So we heard you have won Georgetown President's Excellence Award recently.
Oh yeah, so that was a huge honor. Honestly, the reason that the Maker Hub is successful is because of all of those people, right? I mean, I can put some things in motion and make some policies, but it's really our community that makes the place so special. So really, the President's Excellence Award should go to them. One word, helper.
One phrase.
I'd like to help.